Only 7 months of 2026, many beloved content creators within the Warrior Cats Ultimate Edition community have either quit or taken a long break from content creation for WCUE. The reasons often vary, but it usually falls within the lines of their real life taking more priority, lack of passion or motivation, etc., etc. This sort of statistical trend of WCUE content creators leaving the community has grown significantly from what I observed, watching friends and acquaintances leave for their own sake. But after reading comments, reviewing posts, watching videos, seeing situations go down in game, I think I finally realized what has been deterring content creators from continuing their passion. It's their fans. The community they sought to build and have fun with became what destroyed them. When it comes to content creators, people can be very passionate or inspired by them. This isn't bad at all. In fact, it's the reason why a lot of content creators start their journey. However, too much of one thing will always turn negative. I am referring to the overall toxic obsession that these quote-unquote fans have towards their favorite content creator. The kind that makes people start harassing, stalking, and in general acting very creepy towards these creators. Keep in mind, a lot of WCUE content creators are under the age of majority, or 18 in most regions, and are still considered kids. This toxic behavior can make content creators feel very uncomfortable because their boundaries are being crossed with little regard. And the worst part about all this parasocial behavior is that it's almost normalized. In a debunking video towards a WCUE content creator, which I will explain later, people began criticizing said creator because they had recorded an incident in which a fan was stalking them and following them around in a server despite multiple signs that said content creator was uncomfortable with it. Instead of focusing on the fact that this was a clear sign of a parasocial relationship at its worst, people began hating the creator for recording the incident because they were quote-unquote only a child who was excited to see their favorite content creator. Encouraging parasocial behaviors is not only detrimental to the creator but also the fan themselves. Looking at the footage, the fan involved was probably only around 10 to 13. Around this age is when most people hit puberty and their brain is very sensitive to their environment and the changes within it. If people encourage or normalize parasocial behavior for younger children because they are quote-unquote only children, then these kids are going to grow up thinking that toxic behavior is acceptable. These kids should be more focused on developing real relationships with people in real life around their age instead of random people online that they have no idea who said person is behind the screen or the channel. Sort of a follow-up from the other section, many quote-unquote fans of content creators fail to recognize any sort of boundaries. They will often stalk, harass, or guilt-shame content creators to get their way. It is often done through demanding photos with the content creator, guilt-tripping one for saying no to a request, and more. It can even be small things as well, such as sitting too closely. The worst of all of this is the quote-unquote cancel culture placed upon content creators. The moment a content creator makes an opinion that is not towards someone's liking, they will go out of their way to shame, harass, or guilt trip them because the favorite content creator doesn't think the same way they do. One of the more recent examples I will be using is Evie WCUE's most recent video discussing the flaws within the community, especially within WCUE's moderation system. I'd recommend watching it just to have a bit of a better understanding of the situation that will follow. As one of the testimonies used, there were a lot of things I agreed with the video, but there were also some things that I didn't fully agree with. I was one of the people behind the video, providing evidence and data for the things said. It isn't a 100% perfectly made video, and I believe after watching it that it might have been a bit more on the emotional side. I could rewrite my own testimony to be a little less anger-filled than I would. But this is an important step within the WCUE community to start thinking about how our moderation should be handled. We, the players, deserve to have an input within our moderation, especially since it is the thing that keeps the game safe. However, I'm not going to be talking about the video itself, but rather what followed. With such a controversial opinion, there was bound to be a lot of comments and disagreement. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion, but it's good to note that one should not take that opinion as a weapon and begin using it at the expense of another person. There was one person who decided to make an entire quote-unquote debunking video that criticized a good portion of what was made in Evie's video. Some of it I agreed with, and some I didn't. However, the worst of it came when they began criticizing Evie for using footage of a quote-unquote fan harassing and stalking Evie, hoping servers just to follow her. The fan in question went from a little excited to straight up parasocial behavior in a heartbeat. The debunker said that even though Evie had FFIT, or feel free to interact, in the endgame bio, Evie began telling the fan to back off and leave her alone. The debunker and some others within their comments called out Evie for quote-unquote bullying the fan. I feel like the term bullying here was a bit excessive, since bullying is usually a repeated action. This fan wasn't interacted with beyond this occurrence that night. Do I feel like recording someone with their username displayed was a 100% smart choice? Not exactly, but at the same time, people don't always do the most rational thing in uncomfortable situations. I'll give you some more context behind what has happened to Evie over the last 3 months. Cyber harassment, people telling her that somebody in real life wanted to rape her, and actual death threats sent directly to her. I have had the unfortunate scenario of watching all of this occur as one of Evie's moderators. All of this was generally disgusting and added fuel to the fire that people do not respect content creators' boundaries at all. So, when she had an overeager fan stalking her across servers, she began recording out of her own safety. If something deeper were to happen, she would have evidence to report it. Now, thankfully, it was on the more tame side, but it was still a negative experience overall. While posting it as part of a video was a bit of a rash move, it was a move that needed to happen. People within the WCUE community have become so normalized to children being completely disrespectful that they have begun pushing it off, saying that they are quote-unquote too young to understand. I have seen children as early as the age of 4 exemplify more respect than the fan showed in the footage. This isn't an innocent child, that is a disrespectful child that will grow to not respect other people and their boundaries because the community pushes their behavior off. Now, will a one-off occurrence turn them into a monster? No. But I have witnessed one kid be removed from a film session turn into a literal harasser, dealing death threats and fake sexual assault threats. Unfortunately, the community has pressed so much paranoia onto a single creator that they feel like any sort of parasocial fan will turn into the next stalker. Parasocial behavior in general should not be encouraged. I feel like all the footage shown in Evie's latest video creates an example of what people shouldn't do when they see their favorite content creator. These creators are just as human as anyone else in that train server. Would they have done the same to a random person? People feel like content creators are just robots behind a computer posting content for everyone's entertainment, failing to recognize that there's a single human behind it all, uncomfortable and stressed because all the community sees is simply just another creator. What makes us so different from anybody else that harassment, hatred, and condescension is excusable? Before I move on to the next section, all parties mentioned prior should not be harassed or hated on, period. I do not condone harassment or witch hunting of any kind, which is why I mentioned no specific names outside of Evie because she gave me direct permission to do so. One of the biggest issues that I've seen come solely from the community is the competition between content creators. Of course, whether you come from YouTube, TikTok, Pinterest, etc., you are doomed to be compared to somebody. This issue is especially bad within the YouTube community, where content creators are judged based solely on the sub count. Rather than seeing each creator as their own person with their own unique editing, content style, and more, they are boiled down to being the next big content creator or a copy of another big content creator. I myself have been having these sort of issues where I've been compared to other content creators due to my fast growth. Within these comments, I've often been compared to the next Bear, Pebble, or Splicever. I have nothing against these creators at all, in fact, some of them I'm fairly chill with, but it's disrespectful to be comparing people to others. I can guarantee any of these three I mentioned want to be used as a comparison. I'd rather not be compared to someone else when they are unique to themselves. Everyone has their own story and journey, and we shouldn't compare one another just because someone else is more well known. Another thing I've seen is that people will argue over who is the quote-unquote better content creator solely based on follower or sub count. People shouldn't be boiled down to simply a number. Instead, they should be defined by their personality and talents. But even then, we shouldn't fight over who is better than one another. In the world of WCUE content creation, everyone has their own unique editing style, videos, and ideas. To call one better than another creates this overall idea that only one type of video or editing style is good and the rest are bad. While everyone is entitled to their own opinions and can call a creator and their videos their personal favorite, these ideas shouldn't be pushed onto others simply because they have different opinions. This isn't a race or a competition, it's a community with creativity and freedom. Within my film crew Discord server, I asked some content creators their opinions and feelings about how toxic and parasocial the community has become. This one is from Fennec. As I feel though in the YouTube community, we often focus too much on those who succeed very quickly. We ever rarely give or pay attention to new creators. The creators who have been here for years and aren't even past 5k, etc, etc. I feel we can do so much better as a community by keeping as many people as we can supported, boosting and collaborations, more events, watching other WCUE content creators and commenting, etc. I feel we can avoid so much drama if we started being kinder to those who are newer. Personally, I've been within the community for 4 years and not even at 3k. Meanwhile, somebody reaches 5k within just a month. It shows such a toxic favoritism within the community. Maybe that's just me sounding jealous, or it's just the YouTube algorithm, but I feel everyone can do so much more rather than just keeping to ourselves. If it weren't for our first subscriber and viewer, we wouldn't have what we have today. This one is from TLOZ. My old server wasn't very protected because I wasn't that worried until I started getting sent straight porn, and at the time I was very open about being a minor, I still am, and some people took that as an incentive to just be like, it's so hard not to grab you. Overall, the constant, and I mean constant, issues with fans joining me in games other than WCUE, saying we're friends, and also how many people will try to friend either me or my head mod just to get closer to bigger content creators. This one was from somebody who wanted to be kept anonymous. There have been many instances where I've experienced people not respecting the boundaries of me or other content creators. Excitement to encounter one is fine, and I don't expect every fan to be perfect. There was a time I told a fan I wouldn't friend them, and they started typing paragraphs in all caps to me. A similar experience happened again, except that fan just acted really whiny and wouldn't leave me alone until I left. Content creators aren't dolls. Most of us are minors making fun cat content. Some people generally forget that. This one is from Evie WCUE. Hello, it's Evie. You may know me from Evie WCUE. I am a good friend of Raccoon's, and she asked me to write a little message, so here it is. People really need to teach kids how to act online, or they shouldn't be online. This is a new era, but when I was a kid on Roblox, I didn't even know how to open the text bar. But now kids are knowing way too much 18+ content, expecting everything to go their way or the highway. Is this a sign of bad parenting or too much time online? Yes, indeed. Teach your kids to respect people, understand what boundaries are, or else they will not do well in the real world. And please not say that they are too young. I work at a daycare, especially with 3 to 5-year-olds, and we teach them how to respect one another, and they are better at that than most older kids or adults I've met. This one is from iDragon. I might not be a famous content creator, but I like to express my discomfort towards certain things I've seen a lot. First off, the constant harassment towards content creators. I see players following and crowding content creators as well as disrespecting the boundaries. Many times I've seen frustrated people because of this, and it only creates unnecessary stress. If players do appreciate this, then maybe they should try being a bit more chill and wait until we are free to approach. Also, I would like to point out a situation that I saw recently many times. We are not babysitters of children online. There will be jokes not meant for all ages. A joke shouldn't turn a content creator into the villain. Yes, we keep in mind that some of our audience is children, but it is not our responsibility that parents don't watch what their children consume online. Lastly, in general, people should be more respectful. And just because you do not like a content creator, you can go harassing them. Nothing justifies harassment. This one is from Daisy Claw. I personally believe that many people in this community are targeted due to miscommunication and unwillingness to comply or accept something. If person 1 doesn't like what person 2 says or does, they will likely cut all communication without hearing what the other person has to say, and the community/subscribers of the one that is targeting person 2 will team up against person 2 to say rude things and overall not leave them alone. Then person 2 will be receiving all the hate and will likely feel extremely terrible, even if what they did wasn't all that bad or just a misunderstanding, causing them to quit and never come back to the community. This one is from Mink WCUE. All us content creators go through harassment, drama, etc. because the players just can't control themselves. People can't respect boundaries either. They get in our personal space, friend us, follow us around, and just don't leave us alone. There's constant drama somewhere in the community too. I cannot tell you how many times I've cried or come close to it because of this community. This one is from Dozo. I just wanted to say that, from my personal experience in the community, I've been disrespected by multiple WCUE players on a server simply because I do not meet their expectations or because I'm a smaller WCUE content creator. On top of that, when I'm hanging out with a content creator that people would easily recognize, other fans treat me like I'm some sort of obsessive fan. They become dry, controlling, and try to take over the situation that they created themselves. Most of the time, they throw pointless accusations at me, saying that I need to give the content creator quote-unquote space or that I'm quote-unquote stalking them. Meanwhile, they're often the ones crossing boundaries. Even when the content creator walks away from the crowd to take a break or politely declines taking a screenshot, those same people will complain in chat or move even closer to them, completely disregarding their boundaries. This one is from Mive. Also, I am completely sorry, but I had like an entire existential crisis whether or not your name was pronounced Mive or Maeve. I kept on getting like mixed signals from translators saying both Mive and Maeve, so I'm just gonna like take my my gut instinct and hope that it's Mive. I'm sorry. The main problem I have with the WCUE community is drama. Some people bring drama into the WCUE spotlight instead of handling it privately in DMs. Especially in some cases, 4K versus 1K. Most of the 4K subscribers will disagree with the 1K person without hearing their side of the story because they've been silenced. Maybe they're wrong, but everyone should have a say. Drama should be handled privately and in DMs, not bringing it out into the public and involving other people. There's so much more I could say, but this is my main problem. This one is from TLOZ. I think the community has a major problem with forgiving bad people just because they're friends with said person or the person is a famous content creator and has nice content. I see this way too often. One second another content creator is bashing you for following a bad content creator, yet they turn a blind eye when the friend literally appears in the video. There were some points in the testimonies that were not brought up in the major points, but I don't want to make this video extremely long. Evie, I'm looking at you. Overall, a lot of content creators feel as if we aren't treated respectfully as people, but rather as instruments for people's entertainment to mock, harass, and judge. People often forget that behind all the wires, and the cats, and the channels, and the comments, these creators are just as human as anyone else in Warrior Cat's Ultimate Edition. Why treat them as if they aren't? This video isn't an attack on the community, but rather I want people to reconsider how they treat their favorite content creators. Next time you find one of us, don't treat us like a novelty, but rather as a human who just wants to build a positive community.